Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here one more time, one more day. Just blessed time together. Thank you. And hello to everyone online. So this morning, we have the honor and the pleasure to hear Brother Martin. Please, Brother Martin. Thank you. And Brother Martin will give his talk in two sessions, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Thank you so much, Brother Martin.
Okay. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Marcos, are you going to sing something to begin with?
Okay. I I don't have the harmonium. I can sing without harmonium. Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Pita Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Pita Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Pita Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Pita Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Pita Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Pita Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Putra Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Putra Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Putra Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Putra Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Putra Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Putra Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Om Bhagavan, Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Prabhu Pita Bhagavan,
Prabhu Pita Bhagavan,
Prabhu Putra Bhagavan,
Prabhu Putra Bhagavan,
Prabhu Atma Bhagavan.
Prabhu Atma Bhagavan,
Prabhu Yeshu 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 Bhagavan.
Om Bhagavan.
Okay, good morning to you again. As you know, the theme is the truth as the marriage of wisdom and prophetic traditions. You know, there are three important questions which every religion or any spiritual tradition tries to answer. One is who we are. The second one, what is the goal of life? The third one, what are the means to reach that goal? Who we are, the goal of our life, the purpose of our life, and then the means to reach that goal. And we can generally divide the spiritual traditions into two categories, not in an absolute sense, but for our study, we can divide into two categories. One we can call wisdom tradition, the other one is the prophetic tradition, wisdom tradition and the prophetic tradition. For example, religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Taoism, you can say they all belong to the wisdom tradition. And the religions like Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Baha'i, Zoroastrianism, they all belong to the prophetic tradition. It is very helpful to divide for our personal study and to see the differences. Now, what is the core of wisdom religions, wisdom tradition? The core of wisdom religions is the human search for God, human search for truth, human search for freedom. God seems to be very silent. God doesn't say much, but human beings are asking questions. Asking questions. For example, in Buddhism, they don't speak about God, but still they have a profound understanding of reality and the spiritual life. Okay. And if you take in Hinduism, the Vedic tradition, there is a tremendous search for truth for thousands of years, and somehow God doesn't speak much. Only in the Bhagavad Gita, God starts to speak, but before that, God doesn't speak much. But the sages say about God and all those things. And in the core of the prophetic religions is that it is the other way around. It is God who takes the initiative. It is God who creates. A God who calls a people, a group of people, who sends prophets, who tells them what to do, what not to do. You know, in the wisdom religions, human beings are searching for God, and it seems God is escaping from them. And if you come to the prophetic religion, God is searching for human being, they are escaping from God. You know? And it's very interesting to see. And God is sometimes very angry with them. You know? He says you are a stiff-necked and rebellious people and you don't obey me. But he doesn't stop. He's always sending the prophets. God speaks too much, isn't it? If you read the Old Testament, you discover God speaks too much. Every page, thus says the Lord, thus says the Lord, thus says the Lord. And the human beings are really running away from God. And of course, in the prophetic religions, where there is a prophetic figure like Moses in the Old Testament, principle, and other prophets. And in Christianity, we have Jesus Christ. In Islam, we have Prophet Muhammad. We have Baha'i religion. We have Baha'u'llah. Okay, so we have these prophets, who really kind of foundation of this religion. And it seems to me that the future of our spiritual evolution is really the marriage of these two traditions. Marriage. It's a very profound in every tradition, but it seems they're not self-sufficient in that sense, but there need to be an integration of these two traditions. And in my personal search, I say that in Jesus Christ, this marriage took place 2000 years ago. So Jesus Christ is really a kind of an archetype of the marriage of the wisdom and the prophetic religion, the wisdom, truth, and the prophetic. But for our understanding, we are going to take two traditions. So one I call Vedic tradition, we speak about all other religions, and then we speak the vision of Christ, the Vedic vision and the vision of Christ. And it seems there is a kind of a wonderful meeting point between these two visions. We don't speak about Christianity because Christianity is not one religion, it's a congregation of many religions. The other day I checked with the Google how many denominations are there in Christianity. Can you imagine 45,000? 45,000 Christian denominations in the world. So which Christianity we speak about? So I don't want to speak about Christianity, but I want to speak about Christ. The same way, Hinduism. Hinduism is not one religion; it's a congregation of many religions. There are so many belief systems within Hinduism. Even though all call themselves Hindus, but what they believe is completely different from all. But there may not be so many denominations like in Christianity, but still there are so many divisions within Hinduism. But all are really come from the Vedic tradition, the Vedas, the Upanishad, the Bhagavad Gita, are the foundation of these Hindu systems. And so I don't want to speak about Hindu different systems again going into the jungle. You can never come out of that. But focus on the Vedic vision. And then we can make a kind of a comparison between the Vedic vision, the vision of Christ, and see the meeting point between these two visions. Now let us begin with the Vedic vision. I would say the most important discoveries of the Vedic tradition. Most important discoveries of the Vedic tradition. The first discovery is that there is only one God. There is only one God. Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuti Vadanti. There is only one infinite being, but sages called by many names. Monotheism. I think this is very important. Sometimes people say, oh, Hinduism is polytheism and all those things. But Hinduism or Vedic tradition is basically monotheism. There is only one absolute reality. In the Upanishad says, Ekam Eva Advityam. That means I am the only one, there is no second. I am the only one, there is no second. That means there is only one infinite being, only one God. This is the first important truth of the Vedic tradition. And the second important discovery of the Vedic tradition is the universal presence of God. This one infinite reality is present everywhere. The Ishavasya Upanishad says, Ishavasya Vidam Sarvam. The whole universe is permeated by God. There's only one God, and this God is everywhere. That means the whole creation is in God. Everybody, everything is within God. Nobody is outside God. Nothing is outside. And the third important discovery is that the creation is the manifestation of God. This is a little different from the prophetic religions. In the prophetic religions, creation is created by God. There is a kind of gulf between God and creation. But the most important question of the Vedic sages, I would say, the question is, what is the relationship between God and creation? Because they do not accept a creator God. For them, God is not a creator. So if God is not the creator, creation is not a creature, from where this creation comes? This is the fundamental question, and all the Hindu systems are really answer to this question. The relationship between God and the creation, the relationship between God and the human beings. But in the Upanishad, they were not asking, but they just say like that. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Etat Brahma. All this is the manifestation of Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Okay? This is the and the next most important discovery of the Vedic sages is that Aham Brahma Asmi, I am Brahman, or my infinite self is Brahman. My infinite self is Brahman. I am one with the divine. And then the second so-called Mahavakya is Tattvam Asi. I am Brahman, you are also Brahman. I am Brahman, you are Brahman. And the third Mahavakya, in our Upanishad, there are four Mahavakyas. The third Mahavakya is I am Atman Brahma, Atma Brahman, Brahma. It means Atman is Brahman. And the fourth one is Prajnanam Brahman. Brahman is non-dual. Brahman, that means there are no two Brahman, there are no two God, there is only one God. These are the four important statements of the Upanishads. And the question is, how can a person come to this realization? How can a person come to this realization that there is only one God, this God is omnipresent, and the human being is one with Brahman, and everybody is Brahman, Atman is Brahman. So how can a person come to this realization? And the Upanishads, in a way, in a very original way, they propose four important levels of consciousness. Four important levels of consciousness to which human beings evolve in their relationship. I think this is a very important, I would say, discovery of the Vedic sages. These different levels of consciousness. Because the question of the Vedic sages is that who am I? What is my eternal self? From where I come to where we go? These are the questions of the Vedic sages. And so they discovered in their analysis, they were like a scientist. The scientists make the journey outside. They want to know what is the matter and all those things. But the sages say, who am I? In inner journey. They were scientists, but internally, not externally. So they discovered four levels of consciousness. The first one is called, technically it's called waking consciousness. Now we are all in the waking consciousness. But spiritually it means individual consciousness. Individual consciousness. I am an individual. I am my physical body. And if I am an individual, if I have a physical body, what is the goal of my life? The goal of my life is to satisfy my individual desires and ambitions. The individual become the center of the world. The whole world is there for the individual. I am the master, and the world is there for me. We can say it's extreme individualism. Extreme individualism. Each individual says, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. I do whatever I want to do. I decide what is good or what is bad." This is called individualism, the first level of consciousness. But then they say, yes, you can find happiness by fulfilling your desires and ambitions, but that's not the goal of life. There is a second level of consciousness, which is called dreaming consciousness. Technically, it's called dreaming consciousness. When we go to sleep, we enter into dreams. But it's not a physical dreams, it's a kind of spiritual dreams. And dreams here means ideals and the ideal persons. That means we do not live only for ourselves, for our own individuality, but we have an ideal to follow in our life. We have an ideal person to imitate in our life. So we have ideals and the ideal persons. And in that sense, all religions, all belief systems belong to that level. Suppose I say I'm a Christian. That means Jesus Christ is my ideal person and his teaching is my ideal. So I call myself a Christian. And if I'm a Buddhist, the Buddha is my ideal and the teachings of Buddha are my ideal, of my ideals. If I'm a Muslim, Quran is my ideal. Prophet Muhammad becomes my ideal person. So every religion is an ideal and the ideal person. So we receive a collective label, a collective identification. I am a Hindu, I am a Christian, I am a Muslim, I am a Jew. Suppose if I say I am a Christian, what does it mean? It means I am not living, but Christianity lives in me, isn't it? And as I am a Christian, I don't live, but Christianity lives in me. If I say I'm a Muslim, I don't live, but Islam lives in me. If I say I'm a Buddhist, I don't live, but Buddhism lives in me. This is called living in the dreaming consciousness, having an ideal and the ideal person. And the sages said, it is wonderful to have an ideal. It is wonderful to have an ideal person because you can find inspiration from them. They can give you a meaning to your life. But that is not the end of life. The question is, from where do we select our ideals? From where do we select our ideal persons? From the past, from the present, or from the future? Can you guess? From where do we select our ideals? Suppose I say I'm a Christian. Past, isn't it? I take from the past, bring to the present, and take to the future. So in the dreaming consciousness, what is happening is the past is entering into the present and going into the future. That means the present is not original. The present is not creative. The present is only mechanical. It's a continuation of the past. Suppose if I say I'm a Christian, am I original?
No.
If I say I'm a Hindu, am I original? No, because I'm just giving continuity to Hinduism or Christianity, which was born 2000 years ago, 3000 years ago. So the present is not free, the present is not original, the present is only a mechanical continuation of the past. Even though it can be wonderful, it can inspire you, but still it is the continuation of the past. So in the second level of consciousness, we say the religion is the way, the truth, and the life. The first level, I, an individual, is the way, the truth, and the life. But in the second level, religion is the way, the truth, and the life. Because we live in the collective consciousness. But then they discovered a third level of consciousness, which they described as the deep sleep consciousness. Physically, deep sleep means dreamless sleep state, isn't it? When we wake up, we say, "Oh, I now stay slept." It was a kind of timeless experience. But spiritually, it means no dreams. No dreams means no ideals, no ideal persons. So when there are no ideals, no ideal persons, what does it mean? There is no past. When there is no past, there is no future. And the future is nothing but the continuation of the past. So when there is no past, there is no future. What remains? The present. And this present, freed from the past and the future, opens to eternity. Opens to eternity. And at that level also, a person will say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The first level, individual level, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Second level, religion is the way, the truth, and the life. Belief system is the way, the truth, and the life. In the third level, it's also, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And that level is not individual, it is not collective, but it is universal. It is the universal consciousness united with the whole of humanity and the whole of creation. And there are no others. There are no others. I am everybody and everything. And the life which I live is for everybody and everything. And in this level, when somebody says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, Christ said, we will come to that later in the afternoon. I mean, the statement has a very, very powerful statement. It has two aspects. Freedom from the past, freedom to the future. If I say I am the way, the truth, and the life, that means I do not follow anybody, anything from the past. Because if I follow anybody, anything from the past, I cannot say I am the way, the truth, and the life. I can only say the past is the way, the truth, and the life. So it's a freedom from the past. It's a greatness. To be free from the past is a greatness. But it's also freedom to the future. If I do not follow anybody, anything from the past, then I have no right to ask anybody to follow me. I have no right to anybody ask everybody to follow me, but I want everybody to be free, to be original and to be creative. So this is called third level of consciousness, which is deep sleep consciousness. We call it universal consciousness. Universal consciousness. It's not individual, it's not collective, but universal. And at that level, the present is open to the eternity, open to the eternity. And then they discovered fourth level of consciousness, which they call the awakened consciousness, or divine consciousness. Awakened consciousness or divine consciousness, which is the ultimate reality, or Brahman or Atman, whatever name you use. So you have four levels of consciousness: the individual, the collective, the universal, and the divine. We can use some symbols to describe this level. The first one is like the earth, very solid, the body connected to the body, the solid consciousness. The second one is like I describe as cloud consciousness. Now the clouds are there. We don't see the sun directly, but we see through the cloud. That means the belief systems are like clouds. Our mind projects, and we don't see the sun as it is, but we see according to our mental constructions. Okay, we call cloud consciousness. And the third one we call moon consciousness. The moon is above the clouds. It's not conditioned by the cloud. It is open to the sun, and it receives the light from the sun, symbol of the living. And the fourth level of consciousness is like the sun consciousness. So we begin with the earth consciousness, we enter into the cloud consciousness, and we break through into the moon consciousness, and finally into the sun consciousness. And another symbol we can use is the symbol of a tree. Symbol of a tree. A tree has leaves, branches, the trunk, and the roots. The leaves represent the individuals. There are billions of individuals on the tree of life. Okay. So each leaf will say, I am the way, the truth, and the life. Okay. This is the individual consciousness. The branches represent the collective consciousness. Even though there are billions of leaves, individuals, but the collective groups are not like that. Maybe 10 or 20 religions which are guiding billions of people in the world. So the branches represent the collective consciousness, belief systems, religions, as divided from the others. The trunk represents a universal consciousness. There is only one trunk, which is holding all the branches and the leaves. And the roots represent the divine, the transcendent wisdom. So we begin with the leaf consciousness and enter into the branch consciousness and break through into the trunk consciousness and finally to the root consciousness. Then you see there is only one tree, one way, one life, and one tree. This is a kind of a great discovery of the Vedic sages. That the human beings have this potentiality to evolve from the individual consciousness to the divine consciousness. And this happened 500 years before Christ. 500 years before Christ. So a person who enters into the fourth level of consciousness, this person will say that there is only one God, and this one God, one reality is omnipresent, and the ground of human consciousness is one with the divine consciousness, and the whole creation is the manifestation of God. But then in the Upanishad, the journey is always been a kind of ascending process. You ascend. Once you reach to the divine, then everything will finish. And then if you come to Bhagavad Gita, it is around the first century before Christ or after Christ, I think. It's very close to Christ. Right? And you have a different experience of God, different view of God. In the Vedas and the Upanishads, God doesn't speak, isn't it? But once you come to Bhagavad Gita, God speaks too much again. Once you start to speak in the middle of the battlefield, he goes on speaking 18 chapters non-stop. So you have to be very careful with God. If God starts speaking, he cannot
Just
stop.
listen.
He goes on speaking 18 chapters. Can you imagine in the middle of the battlefield? And now the question of the Bhagavad Gita is the relationship between the eternity and the time. The human consciousness and the divine consciousness. Okay, what is this relationship? Wisdom and action. In the Upanishad, the goal is wisdom. Realize that you are one with Brahman. Finished. And then don't do any work because the work will bind you. Karma. Karma will bind you. So don't do any work. Only the wisdom. So the work was not really recommended. So there was a conflict between wisdom and the action. And if you come to Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tries to build the bridge between wisdom and the action. It's a very, very beautiful scene where you see Krishna and Arjuna sitting in the same chariot. Okay, so the Krishna represents wisdom. He doesn't fight. Krishna doesn't fight. And Arjuna represents action. He has to fight. But he has to fight according to the advice of Krishna. So the wisdom is manifesting in action, and action is coming from wisdom. It's a kind of bringing together wisdom and action. And also Bhagavad Gita speaks about love. Very, very important, love. Because there are three important margas in the Bhagavad Gita: the karma marga, the bhakti marga, and the jnana marga. And one of the beauty of the Bhagavad Gita is that goal is one, but people can reach that goal through different margas, different paths. Each chapter is like a path. Each chapter is like a path. And it's very interesting. Arjuna is asking questions. He doesn't satisfy the one. If you cannot follow this, what is next? If you cannot follow this, what is this? And Krishna goes on explaining different. But then he tries to synthesize three margas in love. And love is wisdom manifesting in action. Love, I describe love as wisdom manifesting in action. Okay? That means love embraces these three. It's not karma marga, bhakti marga, or jnana marga, but you have to integrate these three margas. And the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is that the individual consciousness has to be the vehicle of the divine consciousness. The individual consciousness has to be the vehicle of the divine consciousness. And another important aspect is that in the Upanishad, there is no this concept of surrender, always growing in your identities. There is no concept of surrender. And the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna asks Krishna, he has given so many margas, and he says, what if I am not able to follow anything? What if I am not able to follow any marga? And Krishna says, then surrender to me. Then surrender to me at the end, not at the beginning. Then you surrender to me, I will take care of you. I will free you from all sin. Now Arjuna says, thy will be done. This is something very different from the Upanishads, where Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, but here thy will be done. So it's a kind of the union of the divine and the human. The human consciousness has become the vehicle of the divine consciousness. And so, in a way, the Bhagavad Gita is a kind of complements the wisdom of the Upanishads, where the wisdom and action are brought together in love. So the love is really the essence of the Vedic tradition, we can say. But then it happened around in the time of Christ. But then later came so many systems. Because in the Upanishad there is no one system as such. They just were sharing their experiences. They were like a scientist sharing their discoveries. There was no systematic explanation of things. And the systems come later. And there are, I think, three important systems in Hinduism. There are many, but three important. One is called Advaita, non-duality, proposed by Shankara in 8th century after Christ. 8th century after Christ. It's a kind of interpretation of the Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita, interpretation of it, because every Hindu system has to be based on the Vedas and the Upanishads. Otherwise, you cannot be called a Hindu, isn't it? It's called the Astika. You are called the Astika. Astikas, those who believe in the authority of the Vedas. Okay? So when you come to the Advaita system, there are three principles of this Advaita system. There is only one God. Everybody has to say there is only one God. Okay? Brahman Satyam. Brahman is eternal. Creation is Maya, Jagat Mithya. Creation is Maya. Creation is illusion. And the third principle, the human soul is ultimately one with the divine. So that a person can say, I and God are one, I and Brahman are one. These are the three principles of the Advaita philosophy around 8th century after Christ. According to him, the whole Vedic tradition is really Advaitic tradition. The goal of Vedic tradition is to realize this unity with the Brahman or oneness with the Brahman. But the creation is really, he says, an illusion. This is the problem. Mithya. He says it's mithya. And then in 11th century after Christ comes another great theologian who called Sri Ramanuja. He is from Trichy Ramanuja, Sri Rangam temple. And he did not agree with Shankara. Of course, he also said there is only one God, one Brahman, but this Brahman is not impersonal but personal. But the question is about creation. He says creation is not illusion, but creation is the body of God. It's the manifestation of God. It's the emanation from God. The human souls are also manifestation of God, emanation from God. So a soul or a human being can only say, I am in God and God is in me, but a person can never say, I and God are one. Advaita, you can say, I and God are one, but in Vishishta Advaita proposed by Ramanuja, you cannot say that. You can only say, I am in God and God is in me, but I am not one with God. And the third system proposed by Madhvacharya, around 12th century, 13th century after Christ, it is called Dvaita, duality. According to him, God and creation are completely different, essentially different. Creation is not the illusion. Creation is not the body of God. Creation is completely different from God, essentially different from God. They are there from all eternity, but essentially different. And so a person can never say, I and God are one. A person can never say, I am in God and God is in me. A person can only say, I am in the presence of God. It's around 13th century after. And these are the three important Hindu belief systems. Of course, many Hindus think that the Shankara is the supreme. But then the Shankara is the cream of their discovery. And theoretically, I think 90% of Hindus believe Shankara as the ultimate, but practically, 90% of maybe more than 90%, 99% of Hindus are like Vishishta Advaita or Advaita. The worshipping God in the temples. Bhakti Marg. Bhakti Marg. Shankara proposed the path of wisdom, and Ramanuja proposed the path of it's not a devotion actually, it's path of surrender. He calls it Prophetic. You have to distinguish between devotion and prapatti. Devotion, you can have devotion with God. Prapatti means you surrender to God. Like Krishna telling to Arjuna, surrender to me, then I will take care. You have to completely surrender to God. And they use symbols like um, the way of monkey and the way of cat. In the way of monkey, the mother doesn't do anything. The child, little monkey, the one runs and holds to the mother, and the mother goes. This is called one way of surrender. And the other one is the way of the cat. The cat, the kitten don't do anything. The cat takes, does everything. There are two people, they argue like that. It's like monkey, it's like you don't do anything, God will do everything. Or you have to do something like a monkey hold God, and then God will take care of it. But it's called proper surrender. Through surrender, you enter into communion with God, and then God takes care of you. These are the three important systems in Hinduism, but there are also others also there. The fourth one is called the Dvaita Advaita. The whole problem of the Indian thinkers is what is the relationship between God and the creation? This is the problem. Because they do not believe in a creator God, so if a creation is not created by God, then how did the creation come? This is the problem. And all the systems are really answer to this question of the relationship between God and creation. And the fourth system around 15th century, I think, by a person called Nimbarka, is called Dvaita Advaita. That means the relationship between God and creation is Advaita means oneness, but also Dvaita separation. This unity and also separation. It's like a bridge maker between these systems, You are a peacemaker, if you like, trying to bridge between these systems, three systems, and with each system that we have got duality and also the non-duality. And another system is called Veda Abeda. Veda Abeda. Veda means difference. Abeda means non-different. The relationship between God and creation, God and the human soul, is different at the same time, non-different. In what way? It is not in the quality, but it's in the quantity. God is like 100 kilos gold. God is like 100 kilos gold. And creation is like 1 gram gold. But both are golden. That is Abeda, non-different. But Veda means in the quantity they are different. And this system is followed by Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. You know the Hare Krishna?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who proposed this one. They believe in this system, Veda, different and non-different. The last one is called Suddha Advaita, pure non-realism, which says creation is nothing but God. The creation is nothing but pure, it's called Vallabha, Vallabha. But the problem of all these systems is the problem of evil. If everything is God, everything is a manifestation of God, from where does evil come? And we don't find a kind of satisfactory answer. Either you put that in God and say God, evil comes from God, everything comes from God. So evil also comes from God. You solve the problem. They say this ignorance, evil comes from God. So there is no satisfactory answer, I think, to this problem of evil. And also I would say the problem of creation itself. I think, I hope I am not put it, to say that they have not really found, I would say, a kind of answer which can really satisfy the problems that we exist in that. There's something which we need to reflect upon and try to find a kind of answer which will satisfy us. And so it's a kind of, you can see the synthesis of the Vedic tradition. There is only one God, and this God is omnipresent, and creation is the manifestation of God, and the ground of human consciousness, which is the Atman, is one with the ground of the universe, that is the that is common. But in order to discover that, you have to evolve from the individual consciousness, the, the divine consciousness. But according to the systems, again, there are three ways we can experience God. According to Dvaita system, there is only one God. Creation is completely different from God. I am also completely different from God. But then I can be in the presence of God. This is Tadvaita. There is only one God. Creation is the manifestation of God. I am also the manifestation of God. But I can only say I am in God and God is in. And Advaita system that there is only one God. Creation is illusion. I and God are ultimately one. These are three possibilities are here. So I will stop here and we see if you have any clarification if you want any questions, or if you want to add something to what I have said.
What is the system of Jesus Christ? The three, Madhava and Shankaracharya and Ramanuja. What is the system
You
more
want to
close?
finish my afternoon session in the morning,
More to come. More to come.
I think yes, if you want if you ask that one, we have to say that
The afternoon section.
is the integration of these three. You can't put him into any system because he makes three statements. My father is greater than me. I am in the father, and the father is in I and the father are one. So, to which system does he belong?
All of them.
Where can we put him?
All of them.
So we can't say he's an Advaitin. Yes, he's Advaitin in the sense of I and God are one. He's also Vishista Advaitin when it says I am in the Father and the Father is. It's also Advaitin and my Father is greater than. So you can't put him into any one of the system. He is the integration of the three.
What is the difference between Dvaita and the what is the Ramakrishna? I think the fifth one.
Ramakrishna.
No.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
What is that? What is the fifth one?
Dvaita.
Well, the fourth one is Dvaita Dvaita. The fifth one is Veda Abeda.
Veda.
Veda Abeda.
Veda.
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 Difference and non-difference. Difference and non. In the fourth system, is by Nimbarka. It's very interesting, Shankara comes from Kerala, Ramanuja comes from Tamil Nadu, and Madhva comes from Karnataka, and Nimbarka comes from Andhra Pradesh, and Chaitanya comes, I think, from the north. It's very interesting. These different people from different states. In the fourth system, Veda, there are many possibilities of growing into God. There is not one way. It's not jnana, bhakti, or karma, but integration of many things. But in the case of Veda, it's little limited. I think Marcos Municipality from this Hare Krishna. It's a surrender. You have to surrender yourself to Krishna. You have to become the servant of Krishna. Okay, that is a little limited possibility. But in the fourth one, there are many possibilities. That's not only one.
But in the Hare Krishna also they believe in the Ramanuja and Madhava in the tradition, ISKCON, the same prophets that is included in
Yeah,
this
I think you are right.
Yes.
But they don't accept to Advaita.
No, never.
They call it
Yes,
Mayavadis.
Mayavadis, yes.
They use the word degrading word.
You are sinner.
Mayavadis. These Mayavadis, they say
Yeah.
the creation is illusion. But they say yes, Vishishtha Dvaita and Dvaita. But the Visishtadvaita is for rare people, right? But mainly it is Dvaita, if you kind of realistic relationship. And they are very devoted people, very committed in a way to their path. They are also very missionaries. They are also very missionary.
Yes. So,
Any other?
Advice and the Vedas, what was the difference? How similar are they?
Now, you see, when we speak about Advaita, I always present in two ways. One is the Advaita of the Vedas, Upanishads, and the Advaita of the Shankara. For example, the Advaita of the Upanishads, they say there is only one Brahman, one God, one infinite. But creation is not illusion. They use the word Sat and Asat. You know the famous prayer, Asatoma, Sagamaya, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityurma. Sat and Asat. Sat means a reality which has no beginning and no end. A reality which is self-sustaining, self-existing. Its existence doesn't depend upon anything else. This is called Sat. Brahman is Sat, God is Sat. And creation is Asat. Asat means it has a beginning and the end. Every phenomenon that has the beginning and end is called Asat. So the creation is Asat, it's not illusion. And Shankara says creation is illusion. And that is the difference between Advaita of Shankara and Advaita of the. Even the word Maya, the word Maya comes. Maya also means everything that can be measured. Maya is that everything that can be measured. The creation has the beginning and end, so you can measure it. And so it is Maya. It doesn't mean illusion. So we can say, in our biblical language, we can say infinite and finite. Sat is infinite and the creation is finite. Take another example. Take the earth and a tree on the earth. The earth and a tree on the earth. The earth can exist without the tree, but the tree cannot exist without the earth. So Sat means like the earth which can exist by itself. Asat means like the tree which needs something to exist. So the creation is Asat and God is Sat. This is the subtle difference between Shankara and the Upanishads.
Did you say the Shankara came which century?
8th century after Christ.
After Christ.
Yes. Upanishads 500 years before Christ.
Then can I ask you, Patanjali, where do you place Patanjali?
You know, Patanjali belongs to a kind of different stream of thought, stream of thinking. It's called Samkhya Yoga system. You know the famous, in Hinduism there are 6 systems. It's called Nyaya Vaisheshika, Samkhya Yoga, Purva Mimamsa. Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. And Patanjali belongs to the system of Samkhya Yoga. And according to the system, there are 2 principles, a dualistic like Madhva, if you like, but before that. And according to this system, there are 2 principles. One is Purusha, the other one is Prakriti. Purusha and Prakriti. Purusha is infinite, spiritual, and Prakriti is material and finite. And not know the reason, the Purusha entangles with the Prakriti. And so this entanglement is called bondage. We have to separate this entanglement from the Prakriti. And the path is called yoga. Yoga is the practical means of separating the entanglement of Prakriti with the Purusha with the Prakriti. And that is a different system. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also mentions that. Because in the Upanishadic time, it is different. It's another stream of thinking.
So Martin, what you talked about relates to the realm of philosophy, not so much spirituality.
Yes, it is a spirituality. Because you cannot separate philosophy and spirituality. Because they have because unless you have philosophy, you cannot have a spirituality. Isn't it? Because your spirituality depends on your philosophy. For example, if you believe in the Advaitic system of philosophy, what would be your spirituality? To evolve and to realize that you are one with the divine. But if you don't believe that, you will not have spirituality that helps you to realize the unity with God. And if your philosophy is qualified non-duality, that means I can only say I am in God and God is in me. So, what is my spirituality? What is the purpose of my spirituality? The purpose of my spirituality is to purify myself and to enter into relationship with God and to have this communion with God. And if my philosophy is a dualistic philosophy, and my spirituality is based on that, according to Madhva, your spirituality is doing karma, good karma, and devotion. So my spirituality is just devotion to God and also doing some good work. So my spirituality depends on my philosophy. What is your philosophy? I said we ask the question, who am I? What is the goal of my life? And what are the means to reach that goal? So everything depends on these three answers. If I am Brahman, my goal is to realize Brahman.
So spirituality is guided by the principle.
Yes. The way we live our spirituality is guided by our philosophy.
So the word Hinduism itself was kind of given by British. It didn't exist before, and this whole system is called Sadhana Dhamma. Sanatana Dhamma. So now, how would you? Yeah, what is the difference between this Sanatana Dhamma and religion? Some people say Hinduism is not a religion; it is Sanatana Dhamma. And then we are talking spirituality. Yes, so is Hinduism spirituality? Is Hinduism religion? So where is that distinction? Yes, where would you say that religion goes into spirituality, and we assume or think that spirituality is a higher form than just religion?
No. You know, the Hindus themselves, they do not have a kind of uh, one clear definition of what Hinduism is. They will say it's a way of life, but it doesn't mean anything. It's a way of life. Any religion can say we are also the way of life. Okay? I don't think it is not told by the sages, but it's told by a judge. A judge who made a statement. Hinduism is a way of life, and everybody takes that. I can also say Christianity is a way of life. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. But in my understanding, I describe Hinduism in this first. Then we come to Sanatana. Hinduism is a religion which offers various paths to people to liberate themselves from the bondage of samsara, birth, death, and reincarnation, and realize moksha, liberation. That is how I describe Hinduism. Hinduism is a religion which offers means or paths to people to free themselves from the bondage of samsara, birth, death, and reincarnation, and experience liberation. Because I think all these wisdom religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism, they divide life into two levels. The first one is samsara. All agree with that. Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism. Life in this world is called samsara. Samsara means birth, death, and reincarnation, cycle of reincarnation. The goal of life is really to break this cycle and go beyond that. And that state is called liberation. But Hinduism calls it moksha. Buddhism calls it nirvana. Jainism calls it also nirvana. Okay? But the name you give to that level is different. But samsara is common to all these three religions. What unites them? Okay, what unites them? Now, what is Sanatana Dharma? Sometimes people say Hinduism is a Sanatana Dharma. Okay, but I think you cannot equate Sanatana Dharma with any religion because it's a law. It is goes beyond. Because in Hindu, in the Vedic tradition, uh, in the beginning where there were no words to describe God, the word dharma is used. Dharma. Dharma comes from the root called dhru. If you take a wheel, you take a wheel, there is a hub, and this hub is holding all the spokes. Spine, no? And that is called dharma. So dharma is that which is holding everything. So God is like this hub which is holding the whole creation. So they gave the word dharma to God. Brahman and Atman came later, but in the origin it was called dharma or Rita, harmony, dharma. And then why Sanatana Dharma? And the dharma means also a kind of law, a kind of moral structure, whatever you like. But there are different types of dharmas. We have Sampradaya Dharma. Sampradaya Dharma means the dharma according to the tradition. The tradition tells me what is right and what is wrong. It's one type of dharma. Okay. And there is also called ashrama dharma. Ashrama. In Hinduism, there are 4 ashramas: brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. And each stage has its dharma. A brahmachari has his dharma. Grihastha has his dharma. Or vanaprastha, the wandering, the hermit has his dharma. The sannyasi has his. So they are called ashrama dharma. Okay. And there is also varna dharma, caste dharma of each. There are 4 castes in Hinduism. Again, the Brahmins and Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas and Sudras, and each caste has its dharma. Okay, it's called varna. Hinduism actually is defined as a varna ashrama dharma. Varna ashrama dharma. The dharma of the 4 stages of life and 4 castes. And Sanatana Dharma means the eternal Dharma, which is equal to God. And that cannot be defined. The Sanatana Dharma manifests moment by moment. It is like if you take the example from the biblical tradition in the Old Testament, when the Israelites were taken from Egypt to the Promised Land, and the way they could not cultivate anything, they have to depend on something from above. God feeds them with the manna in the desert, and manna is given day by day. They cannot accumulate it. They cannot. If you accumulate it, you get spoiled. Okay, so that means your food is given day by day. Now, and that is the Sanatana Dharma spiritual. Sanatana Dharma is given moment by moment. You cannot accumulate it. You cannot accumulate for tomorrow. And so Sanatana Dharma is not identical with any religion. For me, I would say the kingdom of God which Jesus presents is Sanatana Dharma, the eternal Dharma. So eternal Dharma goes beyond religious. It is something individuals have to experience. It's not something you can formulate. Oh, this is Sanatana Dharma. You can't do that.
So what is the religion and spirituality? Because we often say that religions diminish and spirituality stays, yes, in that, and it implies that spirituality is a higher level than religion.
I think it is not very wise to make that kind of distinction between religion and spirituality. I think, for me, I would say there is a spirituality based on religion. There is a spirituality which is beyond religion. Okay? In the spirituality based according to a religion, first comes religion, second comes God, understood by that religion, and third come human beings who has to worship God in that religion. This is what I call spirituality based on religions. In the spirituality based on God, first comes God, who is greater than religions, greater than human beings. Second come human beings who are in the universal consciousness, who are greater than religions. And third come religions which are meant to be at the service of human beings, not human beings at the service of God. So we begin our life with the spirituality based on religion and God, and then we have to transcend into the spirituality based on God, which Jesus calls to the kingdom of God is at hand. Repentance means transcending the spirituality based on religion and entering into the spirituality based on. And so it's artificial to say religion and spirituality as if they are really contradict each other. No, we need both. We cannot begin with the spirituality based on God. We have to begin with the spirituality based on religion. But then we have to make the transition into spirituality based on God. And Christ said, I have not come to abolish the law, but I came to fulfill the law. This is very important. It's not abolishing religion, but fulfilling it.
The modern trend is coming up. No need of religion. Only God enough.
It's a kind of, I would say, it's all religion also responsible for that in somehow, because the religion is not facilitating people to grow into the spirituality based on God, and they are trying to hold people to themselves, and that is why this is a kind of reaction towards religions and say religion is bad because it doesn't make us free, it controls us like that. But if a religion is really helping people to grow into the spirituality based on God, then there is no problem with religion. Christ also said the Sabbath is made for human beings and not human beings for the sake of them. It's very clear. Sabbath means religion. Religion is meant to be at the service of human beings and not human beings at the service of religion. It's very clear. You don't need to any interpretation of that.
Now, too much religiosity.
Yes, I said because people are in a way conditioned to remain within a kind of religion, spirituality based on religion, and that is why there is no really. That's why I say, for me, religion is like a nest. They are born there, protected, nourished, and given security, and they help to move something beyond. And then the religion can become very, very powerful. Otherwise, the people will reject religion.
Right?
Okay. In 3 minutes more according to the time, if anybody has last question.
Brother, please be aware, like this present charismatic groups and all are going into this kind of extreme way of looking at it. Charismatic groups.
You know the any kind of experience has to be understood, whether it is an experience of conditioned God or experience of unconditioned God. sometimes in the charismatic movements, people have certainly God's grace is there, but then their experience of God is very limited. They think they have the truth and their God is the only true God, and other God is not the true God, and they go to hell and they go to heaven. And for me, it is very limited experience. I would say God's grace can come in ways. I don't say it's wrong or anything. It's wonderful that they experience something. But then the moment you limit that one and try to judge everybody, others,
Try to impose also.
and also impose on the others, and create a sense of fear of sin. It is something very strong. You are a sinner and you have to repent, and otherwise
Vai
hell
ser
is waiting
beatificado.
for you, and you have little difficulties with that type of spirituality.
This kind of this negative forces, devil, all this kind of language is too strong in some of
Yes,
this.
yes.
Uh, Fear to be. But there are negative forces, isn't it? How do you explain that?
Now, I think we don't have time, sister. I think, but I will explain it in the afternoon. This important question you asked, I don't want to just explain it 1 minute, 2 minutes, but I think it needs time. I will explain it, especially the problem of evil and from where it comes, and it's very important to. Okay?
Well, thank you for now.